Welcome to Coffee from the Block from the House of Blockchain in Liechtenstein. My guest today is Marcel Fleisch. He is the Chief Product Officer of VP Bank in Liechtenstein. It's a pleasure to have you here, Marcel. Thanks for coming. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, myself, I'm just working for more than 15 years now for VP Bank, and it's a great pleasure because, it's group worldwide organization, and it's really cool doing things there with all my colleagues, especially blockchain. Yes, I'm interested in new technologies, especially in blockchain, but also data analytics or VR, gamification and visualization. It's really, really great stuff.
And some weeks ago, I read in a local newspaper that VP Bank tokenized a piece of art. How did you do that, and what's the idea behind it?
The story was really long. I think we started, 4 years ago, thinking about that. We got from our group executive management the trust and the opportunity to do different business cases.
So, Marcel, you said that you were working for 4 years now within VP Bank to build these products and services. Was it only you, or do you have a team who was helping you with building these products?
No, that's the true story. I'm embedded in a team. Gabriel, Dominic, Christian, Thomas, and Michel, and a lot of others who have the same passion. They really focus on what they are doing, and just in each of their disciplines, just creating the value what is needed to gain all this complex processes done. And it's really, without them, it won't work. So congrats, and again, and thanks a lot for being with us and just sharing all these good opportunities now.
So you started 4 years ago. So
yes, of course.
Under the hood, you were working on that for 4 years now.
We started with different cases. We had a lot of different use cases there, with crypto cases and taxation and compliance and so on. So through the whole value chain of the financial industry. But for us, it was really important. It's the key message, I think. We do it not for our own. We don't use the technology itself because it's cool. We just try to find some use cases. Where can we gain benefit for the client and achieve there some problem solving situations. And that was a good starting point. And why does it come for art tokenization? I think we started 1.5 years ago with a survey with our clients, where it was clear stated that art tokenization is really the key. There is a huge possibility. Our market offers a lot of problem-solving situations, and I think there we can combine the traditional assets and the USP of a bank as well as with the new technology to gain some benefits for the clients. But it comes really out in an early stage that VP Bank can't do it at your own. We just combine the different expertise of partners in an ecosystem and provide as a solution partner different services to clients. And yes, they are based on blockchain. That's really, really a key for us because the existing value, the famous and the unfair advantage of the blockchain value of Liechtenstein offers us the opportunity to combine the real world with the blockchain technology to guarantee ownership claims.
Okay. So for the audience, tokenization of assets, I mean, what can you when you think about tokenization of assets, what's behind it? It's if you tokenize something, what is happening? In Liechtenstein we have a specific idea, and our idea is, I think that you represent a specific right. So, for example, if you have tokenization of a piece of art. You define the ownership right, and then you let the token represent that piece of art. And you started, as you said, quite early, and you were thinking about tokenization of assets in general, and then identified that piece of art is one of the products where you thought that there might be a demand from your clients.
Definitely, yes, absolutely true. We just go through all the kind of non-bankable assets and see where's the big states and where the technology could help us to solve different issues. And we just asked our clients, and that was the key aspect, just identified, okay, we're starting with art, but we will not stop there. We have, with our current setup, the opportunity to do it with other collectibles and something like that as well, you know. That means it is a good starting point, but we need to guarantee a really high-end standard. If we deal with art, we have a lot of respect to deal with that, and therefore we combine our good services with that of ecosystem partners to fulfill all the requirements.
And why would I need a bank? I mean, if I have a piece of art, why just don't store it in a high security storage, or like put it on my wall? Like, why would I need a bank, and why would I have to tokenize piece of art? I mean, what's the advantage of doing that?
You know, that is the key advantage of this famous blockchain law here in Liechtenstein. It gives us the opportunity to just deal with the digital representation, what gives us the opportunity of ownership claims dealing. That means we can, on the one side, just fractionize existing real products, and on the other side, always fulfill reporting issues, transparency issues, and so on. And I think that's the basic, you know, these kind of services, the ownership claims fractionalization, and the transparency for reporting, and not last but not least, the overview of wealth, what we can now provide within a banking group, gives us the opportunity to just have a product shelf there, what is outstanding. And on top of this basic service, we just add some additional values, which creates a solution for different issues coming up, for example, for succession planning and so on.
Okay, that's interesting. So if I have a piece of art and it's very valuable, what I will do is I will define, or you will help me, I will bring the piece of art to you. You will define the ownership right, you will fractionalize it if I want to. Let's say I want to issue 1,000 tokens, which represent each of the token 1,000 of that piece of art. And then I can say, like, let's start with, I will have all of the 1,000 token in my portfolio. And the cool thing is then, is it working like that? I have my e-banking application on my phone, and then I see my 1,000 piece of art, whatever token representing the ownership right. And okay, and then you mentioned succession planning. So now it is possible then, I think, because the problem is, or the challenge what lawyers sometimes have with their client is, if they want to have succession planning and they have collectibles like piece of art, I mean, you don't fractionalize the real physical object. I mean, it would not be a very good idea. But with the tokenization, I think that is now possible. So if you have that case that you can divide the ownership right, you can divide now within tokens, and it's very easy if you use like a banking partner like you are to then have that token in your portfolio. So, and if I understood you right, you said that I can use it within my like traditional application I have, and then I will see, okay, now this is part of my portfolio, of my overall portfolio. And you're also, is it something you're thinking of, because the Liechtenstein Blockchain Act, or the TVTG as its real name is actually, allows then to add a lot of more services. You mentioned briefly that you were thinking of a lot of other services, because now I have something, you said it's not a bankable asset in standard. Now I would have a bankable asset, which would allow me, but correct me if I'm wrong, then to say, okay, I will pledge my ownership token of that piece of art and maybe get a loan from my bank. Is that something you can think of? Or?
Yes, that's the added value would like to gain out of these basic services. That has to do with liquidity, that has to do with gamification, that has to do with different aspects in the risk sector. You know, art is a risky good, you know, you have to deal with that. There's a lot that's going on in the market. You have tax issues there, you have other reporting issues. And all this kind of stuff we can fulfill based on the blockchain law and based on the basic services, what it enables us. And on top of that, these different issues. Yes, of course. And we are dealing with that. But it's really exciting. You know, there is a lot of good players all around the world to just join us. And we are just in an ecosystem now with them. And I think we can give there a really outstanding solution for a lot of different client needs coming from different client segments, you know. We started as, for example, private clients where we deal with succession planning. It's a base case, of course, you know. We don't want to speculate with arts, because in our view, if you try to speculate it, you will just, you know, the value of the pig itself loses the value. You know, that makes no sense. But just solve the problems coming up with succession planning. It is time, you know, what you need. A fair split of the value. And a huge number of...
Fair split of value. If the only thing I really have of value is one piece of art, I have to sell it to divide it to my heirs, right?
Correct.
And that makes no sense, because maybe they say, okay, I have a demand for some liquidity. Let's say I need for the education, I need a specific amount of money, and then I will just like use it, get a loan from you, but I don't have to divide or sell the piece of art. That's actually very interesting.
Yes, and even, you know, if it comes in a really early stage, you know, that means now it have to be done, and all the different parties involved are not quite sure what they are dealing with, and selling piece of arts in a really short time is not useful. So that's another combination. Yes, of course, that you say, okay, just let guy and time 6 to 12 months, but how can we deal with it? Yes, we can just, in a fair value, just split it all to the guys involved. And if it then comes on a later stage, they decide to sell it, then they have the opportunity without losing money. Okay, that's a different case. But that's some of these use cases. We can now deal with it, and it's really good because we see here emotion. We see here a lot of value. We're seeing things going on in this market, what really helps, even in the valuation, in the risk sector, or gamification. You talked about liquidity. You talked about loans and so on. There are some serious parties who can help us on this, and give us the necessary inputs how to deal with that, you know. And I think that is a good combination where we would place us as a solution provider between all these different ecosystem partners to find some solutions for and the benefits for the client.
That's, I mean, because you said it already, that you need the specific legislation or the regulatory framework allowing you to have the representation of rights, as we have it in our TVTG with the token container model. And as far as I know, that's Liechtenstein is the only place so far with that legal clarity, and also the civil laws amended for that tokenization of assets, that you get that legal certainty we want, so to have this legally enforceable claims. And that means, I think that's a primer, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely, we are unique.
I think that Vitalik once said that Ethereum is like the Lego. It's like Lego. You can build stuff based on Ethereum, which is true. And I sometimes say that the TVTG is like Lego, but from the law perspective, because you can build up based on that law, you can build up your product and services. And I think it is exactly that link you mentioned, that you have now the opportunity to use the Liechtenstein legal framework to have tokenization of assets without extra intermediaries like an SPV, as you said. Because tokenization of art is something which happens around the globe, right? I mean, you can, as you said, you normally what you do is you set up a limited and then let this company buy the piece of art, and then you issue shares, which you then, if possible, issue in a tokenized form. But I mean, to only explain that story, how that works, it's very complex. In Liechtenstein, you have the piece of art, define the ownership right, as you said, and then let the token represent that ownership right. And I think that's unique.
Yes, and just combine your good words with somebody who is talking about succession planning, you know. Mm-hmm. In the traditional world, you need an SPV and so on, okay? In the new world, no, you don't need that anymore. It's cost efficient, it's fast, and it's very flexible. And I think, you know, that's two of these kind of, you know, a huge list of, you know, we got some really good feedbacks from the market when we put it out to the market, you know, the media, the reaction was really cool because we got some positive feedbacks from the whole value chain and a lot of interest of different clients. And of course, a huge number of stakeholders all over the world just get in touch with us and would like to combine our good service because they have seen and that they acknowledged that it is absolutely unique what we are doing here.
So we were talking about the tokenization of assets, piece of art, and what value that could add actually for the investor, so to say, or the owners of piece of art. But you briefly covered that, or I think that I read that might also be beneficial for the creators. Because as some might know, for creators it's very hard to enforce their IP and to get royalties out of their creation. And could that bring any value, or where do you see potential to solve issues here as well, problems?
Yes, that's a very smart use case, and we are facing with that. I think we can launch it. We are looking for a pilot case, and we are ready to do that. You know, in the tradition, as you mentioned, in the traditional sector, you have royalties for musicians for their good music arts, but for someone who is doing paintings or something, you don't have something that, you know, it's very keen and really difficult for them to have a recurring income. And I think with our solution, we might have the opportunity to give together in this ecosystem, together with all parties, we can combine this technology with promoters and the token and get here royalties for the artist. That means he have a recurring income as long as the token exists. And I think that could be very valuable for there. Because then they not only have to sell the pieces, you know, nowadays, COVID-19 crisis, vernissages, galleries are closed. Mm-hmm. So they are faced with really problems that they have no opportunity to get any income. And this could help to deal with that issue in a really good way without producing something new. Just using the existing technology.
So because in the old world what they do is they work for a creation, for a piece of art, let's say 6 months without any income for sure, because they just work on their creation, and then they sell it. They have a vernissage and then they sell it, and that's like the single point in time where they actually get any payment. And what you're telling, if I got you right, is that they could, instead of selling it completely, they can issue tokens and then get royalties on an ongoing basis, which would then allow them actually to focus more on their work, which is actually creation of new art, and then get a recurring income instead of having like one payment, and that's it. Okay, that's also a very interesting use case.
And you can use it for art, but also for music instruments or for any other kind of
not the music, but like the
instruments.
Okay, the guitar.
Yes,
and
of course.
the violin.
Yes,
okay.
yes, that kind of collectibles, or even a Stradivari, for example, is a good case to deal with that. Yes, and it works as mentioned. Then it's really easy one. I think it's very cost efficiency. It's absolutely secure, and you are under the full control of a regulatory environment. And I think that will help the art market, even the artists, to be not a producer and dependable to different kind of solutions, how to distribute products. No, you can just have another opportunity where you can get recurring income. And I think that is really a new area where tokenization just deal with another issue and found some solution.
And what's the difference, what you are doing now in comparison to NFTs? Like these non-fungible tokens, we see now also in the media everywhere that you have like this digital art where they issue NFTs, like these specific tokens, and then they have, I mean, in the media you always find this incredibly high prices for this digital art. So what's the difference to that? You already spoke about that what you are doing is you're combining the real world with the digital world. Is that the key?
Yes, I think that's the focus, of course. We just combine the new technology with real art, that means fine art in a first stage. We can just use it in our fully reflected and fully acknowledged regulatory environment of our banking system. I think that's the second one. And the third one, of course, we are thinking about how can we use the traditional NFTs in an art process. Yes, perhaps lithographies or even gamification, or some with liquidity cases, what coming up that could just combined with our existing setup, but we have to really focus on what we're doing there, because we won't touch the real value of this good piece in art, because it reflects a certain kind of story, and so we be really cautious what we are doing there.
And thank you very much for that. And I think the NFT token world is something which is now being explored more and more, and people will understand that it is crucial that if someone tells you that you will not only get the token, or to put it the other way around, you also get the physical object, that is something which people really, and in most cases, don't really care about. But from a legal perspective, it is really crucial that with the transfer of the token, you should also transfer the represented rights, the linked rights to the physical object. And what I have seen so far globally, there are quite some interesting projects there, and I think it's the big challenge here is again that you have this this enforceability of these claims, because I think if tokenization of assets is something which we would see in the future more and more, which I truly believe, I think what we need is that legal certainty, because if I am a token holder which tells me that I'm supposed to be the owner of a specific piece of art, and I have for sure I have also the right to use the digital representation or a digital copy of that image, for example, that's another use case. I want to be sure that if I want, that I can actually execute on my ownership rights, which means, for example, that I want to have it transferred to my place. And I think that is really crucial, and it seems that your solution is offering that in the end, to have that real link between the digital and the real world. And so you started quite early. I mean, you said that you worked for 4 years now on tokenization and on blockchain and crypto. If I would start now, because sometimes people are asking, I mean, it's already over, it's too late, I cannot start in that area. What would you tell people when they ask you, like, I'm a really beginner, what should I do? Which books should I read? Where should I start? Should I watch YouTube? What would be your advice to a very good friend?
I think don't be confused by the large, countless amount of information out there. Just stay focused, For us, we deal with it by just setting use cases, okay? The last thing, the art token, is we started 1 year ago, something like that. And we were pretty sure what we're doing there. I think that is key. Just find where are the benefits when you use this kind of technology. Don't start with the technology. Please start with the benefits and try to find out how the technology helps you. And if you then can set it on a really good foundation, as we have here in Liechtenstein, this famous blockchain law, would have a really unfair advantage to all other markets, then you can be quite sure that you get a solution what the client needs on a long way, It has to be a sustainable solution.
And it's not too late. I mean, if you start now, you're still an early adopter. One of my favorite questions I have, I mean, this talk is called Coffee from the Block. What is your favorite coffee, Marcel? Is it cappuccino, espresso macchiato, a specific bean, a specific method of making coffee? Or if you're not a coffee person, I mean, you know that you drink an espresso now, so.
No, it's very easy, to answer the questions. Each time I come around, I learn a lot about a coffee because you're that an expert. So ask me this question, please, next time we do an interview, okay?
But we started with a good espresso. It seems that you like espresso.
This guy here, you have to know, is doing the best coffee I ever had,
I'm preparing my coffee career instead of my lawyer's career. Thank you very much for coming, Marcel. It was really a big pleasure to talk to you. And I would love to hear more. I mean, if you have more products, if you have a vision to share what you're going to do with BP Bank, where the journey is heading, or if you have some specific use cases from TVTG, please come back here again. We're more than happy to talk about that and share that information.
Happy to do this, yes. We will have a long journey on that trip, and I think there are so many use cases we have to deal with it. And we have to stay focused. We have to be clear what we do. And yes, we do step-by-step approach. And yes, thanks a lot being here. It was really great.
Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please comment it and we'll try to answer them. We will forward them to Marcel for sure if there are specific questions about the products and services we heard so far. And also follow us, subscribe to the channel. More to come soon, and hope to see you soon.